Okay, so now that you have some vocabulary terms kind of, in your mind for modes of third person narration, you're going to use your author's point of view sheet and take some notes on the definitions of the three types of third person point of view. And we're also going to add some types of third person signal words. So as we go through this PowerPoint presentation, please add the terms that are in red and underlined to that author's point of view note sheet that you have in front of you. So dialogue and narration. There are differences between the two. Dialogue are the characters' voices, and narration is the narrator's voice. She said, "Hey, you." So the dialogue here is "Hey, you," and the narrator's voice is "she said," okay? But we are interested in looking at the narration, okay? So that's what we're going to look at to determine the third person, the type of third person. So the narrator tells his or her story, and there are, of course, three types of third person. You guessed it: objective, limited, and omniscient. So as we try to figure that out, we're going to need to know the difference between those three types of third person point of view. So what is the difference? Well, you have your character and you have your narrator. If the character says, "I feel sad," and the narrator says, "he felt sad," are the character's inner thoughts narrated? Absolutely. Does the narrator reveal those thoughts and feelings? So we're really going to take a good close look at thoughts and feelings here. So we're going to start with third person objective point of view and go ahead and add these terms to your author's point of view note sheet. Go down to the author's third person objective definition, and you're going to put in there that a narrator remains a detached observer. So when you're objective, when you're in the third person objective, you're telling stories, action, and dialogue, but you're not seeing any of the character's thoughts or feelings being told. So this is an example of that. Chris slowly walked up to Elma with his hands behind his back. "So, you want to go with me?" he said nervously. Elma blushed. "Okay," Chris smiled. So here we have Chris and we have Elma. We have what they are doing and saying, but we don't have either of their thoughts. Okay, we don't know what they think about that or each other. Next, we have third person limited. Take a moment and add this to your note sheet. The narrator tells the story from the viewpoint of one character in the story. So here in third person limited, we are limited or restricted to one character's thoughts or feelings. So here's the example. Chris liked Elma since the third grade, but he had never found the nerve to tell her. But one sunny day, Chris said to Elma, "So you want to go with me?" Elma blushed and said, "Okay." Chris smiled. So in this example, we have Chris's internal thoughts. It says here that Chris liked Elma since the third grade, but he didn't have the nerve to tell her. So it is limited to Chris, though, because we don't know anything about Elma or how she feels or thinks about it. Okay, so Chris, we know he likes Elma, and all we know is that Elma says okay. So we have one character's thoughts, and that is third person limited. Finally, we have third person omniscient. And remember, if you think of that image that we wrote in our matrix for third person for omniscient, it's that all-knowing, the all-knowing narrator that knows more than one character's thoughts and feelings. Omni means all, and scient means knowing. So if you think about that, the narrator has unlimited knowledge, and they can describe the character's thoughts and interpret their behaviors, not just one, but multiple. So here, Chris had liked Elma since the third grade. Little did he know that Elma liked him too. They both admired one another from afar and waited. One day, Chris said to Elma, "So you want to go with me?" Elma felt her stomach sink. She couldn't believe it. Blushing, she said, "Okay," and Chris smiled. In this example, we see both Chris and Elma's feelings and thoughts. We don't just know that Chris had liked her since third grade, but that Elma liked him too. and that she felt her stomach sink and couldn't believe something, okay? So here we know from the narrator's perspective, we can see both of these characters' thoughts and feelings. That makes it omniscient. So here's Chris and Elma. I like Elma. Oh, I like Chris. Okay, so we know then 2 or more characters' thoughts. So now we have some signal words to add to our note sheet. There are 7 spaces to put signal words in. We may find some others to add eventually, but we're going to start with these. Knew, felt, contemplated, thought, understood, believed, reflected. Anytime you see these types of words in relationship to a character, you know that we're hearing their thoughts or feelings. So these are your signal words that you're going to look for when looking specifically at types of third person. Okay, so take a minute and write those down in the bottom of your note sheet where it says types of third person signal words. And if you missed any of those definition terms that you need to fill in, just pause the video and go back and put those in your note sheet. Hopefully this gave you some more information about the types of third person, and that way will help you to be able to use this information and apply it to what we're going to do tomorrow in class.